What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets reacting real back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. So excited about this video. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, all right? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Let's get it.
Everyone, I'm your host Barbie. Okay, so here's the deal. I know a lot of you guys are kind of like dismissing all the other smaller, obscure African countries, and you're just waiting for the big guys like Russia and India. However, Africa is an incredibly crucial continent to learn about because without it, humanity kind of wouldn't exist. So shut your yapples and cram this in your brain pipes. Let's find out stuff about Gabon, shall we?
Why people start punching the air when you tell them that? Why do they start biting their lip and get like red and upset? It's like
because they're not patient. Patience is a virtue.
Hey, let me just, no, you know what?
India. However, Africa is an incredibly crucial continent to learn about because without it, humanity kind of wouldn't exist. So shut your yapples and cram this in your brain pipes. Let's find out stuff about Gabon, shall we?
Gabon.
Gabon.
Why Gabon
Where
look like
are
a
you
little
and what are
Texas?
you all about? Well, Gabon is located in Central Africa, just off the coast of the Atlantic Ocean, just a hop away from Sao Tome and Principe, bordered by Equatorial Guinea and Cameroon to the north, and the Republic of Congo to the east and south. The country is divided into 9 provinces, with the capital Libreville located in the northwest coast off the Atlantic.
I know we're talking about Gabon, but Cameroon is right on top, and we meet a lot of people from Cameroon. A lot of people.
Y'all love Texas.
Y'all love y'all some South. Yeah, bro. They become, and they're mad chill. But yeah.
Gabon is also one of the 13 countries that are transected by the equator, passing just south of Libreville. You can actually drive on a road that passes right through it. By the way, the shape of Gabon kind of resembles a witch wearing a top hat. Gabon also has a dispute with the Mbanye and Lesser Islands of Conga and Cocoteros off the Atlantic with Equatorial Guinea. The UN has urged them to kind of settle the dispute and set maritime boundaries, but for now they're just kind of like, whatever, we'll do it later. Fun side note, Gabon actually got its name from the Portuguese word Gabon, meaning cloak, since the rivers by Libreville were said to kind of look like that. Speaking of which, Libreville was kind of started by 52 freed slaves that were kind of just dropped off there by the French in 1846, hence the name Libreville or Freetown. And then about 20 years later, the French came in and took the place back. Speaking of which, again, the largest international airports are Libreville-Léon Mba International and Port-Gentil International. Gabon is booming economically right now. Despite the low population and workforce, civil engineering projects have exploded in the past few decades. The most impressive engineering project probably being the Trans-Gabon Railway, traversing about 670 kilometers from Libreville to Masuku, or Franceville, with 23 stops in between. This train line is basically the backbone of the whole country, transporting not only just people, but resources from the lush interior to the coast. Other notable landmarks might include the Léon Mba Memorial for Gabon's first president, the highly acclaimed Schweitzer Hospital in Lambaréné, regarded as one of the top medical research units in Africa. In Franceville lies the International Center for Medical Research, one of the only 2 maximum biosafety level 4 containment labs in Africa, on the same level as the smallpox holding CDC building in Atlanta, Georgia. Not this Georgia, this Georgia. This Georgia will be up in 2 episodes. The famous Liana Bridge in Ogooué Lolo also sticks out. The Flame of Peace.
Is that one of those bridges that look like they sway? Like those? Hold on, I gotta take a close look at that
same
bridge.
Level as the smallpox holding CDC building in Atlanta, Georgia. Not this Georgia, this Georgia. This Georgia will be up in 2 episodes. The famous Liana Bridge in Ogooué
That's what it look like.
Yeah, with the rope.
When you walk.
That looks fun.
Also
it's not that high. It's not that high off the water.
The Omar Bongo statue, the interesting half-man, half-woman slave breaking free from bondage statue, and of course the presidential palace, which has been a hotbed of controversy because the president kind of spent way too many millions of dollars on it. To make things simple, the area of what is now Gabon used to be a French protectorate under French Equatorial Africa, not West Africa. Don't get those 2 mixed up. Just like Equatorial Guinea, the major cities in Gabon are thriving with oil money. This allows them to import luxury items and goods from all over the world. Libreville itself considered one of the most expensive cities in Africa. Each village in rural Gabon is considered to own about 5 kilometers of surrounding forest in every direction, which is why, like many other sub-Saharan African countries, you get these small round villages connected by long single stretches of road like knots on a string. In between these roads, you can find an abundance of something incredibly rare found almost nowhere else on Earth, which brings us to gorillas. I was talking about gorillas. Yeah, Gabon has the highest concentration of gorillas out of any country in the world and holds about 80% of the entire world's wild population. Whoa! Despite that, the national animal is actually the black panther, as it can be found on the coat of arms. By the way, bravo Marvel on bringing him into the franchise. Gabon is absolutely packed with raw, unspoiled, heavily concentrated jungle and rainforest, making it the 2nd most forested African country after Seychelles at about 85% of the entire landmass. Over 700 species of birds are found here alone and hundreds of mammal and reptile species as well. Don't miss out on the Makoku and Congo falls, the Crystal Mountains, and try to discover and document one of the hundreds, if not thousands, of unexplored caves hidden deep within the jungle brush. Basically, the country is split
You know, after I seen people go in caves and go between them little tight spaces, I don't think I would want to be in one. It's just too risky for me. I don't know.
Nah, y'all, we actually did go in the cave
Once.
Once.
And we went
That's
down
enough.
and down
Kept
and kept
going.
showing us how much meters we was. I'm talking about lower, and I'm
It
like,
was
see.
cold and
What's
slippery.
going and slippery. Yeah. That's when
Once
we
a
had
lifetime.
Yeah, you know what?
We don't need to go back. And then we had a 1-year-old with us, our
Mm-hmm.
son. You know, very active, very much
Touchy.
going by the rope parts where all you see is
Did
just
you remember
nothing.
that fall? They had like a little cliff fall, and it was like
Uh-huh.
it just looked like it never. It was just dark.
Yeah.
It was just dark
It was
down
just
there. It
there.
was crazy. It was
And
crazy.
he's talking about, I want to see it. No, you don't. You really don't. Yeah, one time and done. We done.
three physical regions: the coastal plain, the central highlands, and the thick jungle interior on the east side. In 2003, the government decided to designate a minimum of 10% of the land towards protected national parks and wildlife areas, the largest one being the Makebe National Park in the northeast. And some of these places are pretty funky. For example, you have the Loango National Park along the coast, sometimes referred to as Africa's last Eden, as it's one of the only few places in the world where you can find inland savanna species like elephants and hippos playing and surfing along the ocean. So if there's one thing you're going to take away from this video, just remember, Gabon has surfing hippos. Done. Just a
Surfing
skip away
hippos.
is the largest
Fun.
Lake Onage, and the Onage River, the
I'm
largest
sorry. Sharks is bad, but a hippo in the water. Why you at the beach? It's disastrous.
You see
I'm
the,
talking about you won't swim fast enough,
for
bro.
real. You see the way they just chomp on the watermelons and things?
That's
They
the
cute
most
from
important
afar.
body of water that flows across the entire country and was historically used as a major source of transport, especially to the cities of Moanda and Masuku, or Franceville, known for being the mining capitals of Gabon. Now, despite the lush, heavy, biodiverse regions, Gabon really isn't too much of an agrarian society. Once again, just like Equatorial Guinea, this is because of oil. In the early 70s, offshore oil was discovered and they rode that pony into the sunset. Oil makes up about 80% of the country's exports and about 45% of the overall GDP and 60% of state budget revenues. Despite the reduced role of other industries, forestry actually has a sizable labor force. Cassavas, plantains, butter, fruit, and palm nuts are grown wherever farmlands exist. Palm nuts actually are a key ingredient in most national dishes. Few restaurants will serve it, but if you can find the low-key venue, you might even find the Gabonese delicacy porcupine served in a stew. If you find yourself in the right neighborhood, you might even witness people drinking a drink made out of the iboga root, a hallucinogenic substance that's typically used in rituals like in the Bweti faith, where people claim to see their ancestors. And that's just the tip of the social iceberg. Let's see what else these Gabonese people are like.
Okay, so wait a minute. I wonder if Black Panther took a lot of, the elements from the story from Gabon.
Cause I'm saying they could have easily took their root, turned it into like a mineral, made it into a tea. Cause there's so many. You can make it into a seasoning, a tea, a herb, medicine. There's so many different things you can do with it. Maybe you're right.
Right, maybe so. Because I
Maybe
know that
you're
wasn't
right.
palm oil that they was drinking in the movie. I just know it was.
Nah, and we got palm oil.
Right.
And it wasn't palm oil. Then y'all actually helped us out with the palm oil. Y'all started to use this for a dish, and then we did, and it was
Great.
perfect, right? But yeah, that was a palm oil.
Yeah.
Nah. Maybe just off topic. Maybe that's what they put. No, that wasn't what they put on Simba's head. He actually showed us what he put on Simba's head.
Simba.
Yeah, you remember when the red?
That's a
It
whole
wasn't
nother
palm oil,
movie.
but it wasn't palm oil.
It was in blood?
Uh-uh.
Oh, baby, I don't
And
know.
he mixed up together. I don't know.
You know how long ago that came out?
That's my stuff though. That show was hard.
Child.
Okay, so half you people are probably thinking, okay, Gabon is just another French-speaking African country, so what? There's like 20 of those. What's so special about them? Boy, sit your fat cheeks down and learn yourself some ethnic groups. First of all, almost the entire population of Gabon is made up of Bantu origins. For those of you who don't know, the Bantus are the largest classification of ethno-linguistic Africans that stretch far across West and South and East Africa with over 600 tribes and about 500 languages spoken. Probably should have mentioned that in an earlier African episode, like Angola. The country has about 1.5 million people and is the 5th most sparsely populated country in Africa. The population is divided into 3 main people groups, the largest one being the Fang at about a third, the Punu at 10%, the Nzebi at 9%, and surprisingly a sizable 7% white French minority, and the rest is made up of other tribes like the Mayene, Pygmies, and other ethnic groups. They also use the Central African franc as their currency, they use the Type-C plug outlet, and they drive on the right side of the road. Fun little side note, all the countries that were part of the former French Equatorial Africa region use the Central African franc as their currency, and all the countries that were part of West Africa use the West African franc, except for Mauritania. Now you know. Gabon is often touted as Central Africa's most travel-friendly destination. There are also virtually no tensions between the ethnic groups, and intermarriages are very common. French is, of course, the official language used by all ethnic groups for cross-communication. However, each group also speaks their own language as well, typically at home or with friends and family. Although little is known before European engagement, we do know that Pygmies inhabited the area of where the country is located now, but in the 14th century, the Great Bantu Migration occurred, and soon they were either taken over or absorbed into the dominating tribes. When it comes to culture, though, you have to understand Gabon is a nation burgeoning with incredibly vibrant customs, rituals, and mannerisms. Let's talk about the largest group, the Fang. The Fang is a sizable family of about 20 clans spread across Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, Sao Tome and Principe, and the Republic of Congo, and Gabon. Now, people all over Africa make masks. However, it's disputed that genuine Fang masks are the most acclaimed and valued in the African art scene. Masks played a huge role in Fang society, and they were used for everything from initiations to celebrations and funerals. Some people argue that other African groups took the inspiration from the Fang and imitated the elongated, droopy jawline format to exploit for themselves.
I remember seeing long, droopy, masks on walls. Not familiar with what location, but I instantly, as a child, looked at it and was like, oh, this is Africa. This is a mask from, the motherland. You know what I'm saying? This is art on the wall. You know what I'm saying? So I always kind of had that thought when I see masks like that. Without even really being 1,000% knowledgeable of the location, it just instantly took me to that spot. You know what I'm saying? To the continent.
Probably a museum somewhere. Cause
I don't remember where.
It's familiar to me as well, but I don't know where.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, our grandparents used to have a lot of the figurines and things in the artwork, so maybe there. Maybe.
I would say possibly a fair. I don't know.
Even church.
Maybe.
Depending on church.
Literally, it could have been any one of these locations. None of these places can be not the one. It could have been, literally.
The Mayene tribe is known for being masters of rumba. The Punu and Vili are partakers in the Ekan rituals. The Mitsogo are known for taking part in the Bweti, or the ceremony with the hallucinogenic root that we just talked about. About 60% of the population is under 25, and women have an average of 4 kids each. The weird thing is, almost everyone in the country gets married. However, many women are almost expected to have children before wedlock. This is partially because of a tradition that states that in case of the men and women split after marriage, all premarital offspring will belong to the woman, but children born after the marriage belong to the man. This ensures that the woman will have something just in case. It's kind of like a genetic prenup. Daddy, can I live with you?
Well, see, son, you were born before we got married, so I'll see you later, okay?
Keep in mind, this custom also applies to other African countries, too. About 3/4 of the Gabonese are Christians, with 3 times more Catholic.
That's different.
That's tough. Okay.
That's very different. Y'all gonna have to explain that one a little bit more. So
it's like one or the other. The child goes with one parent regardless of the situation. It just depends on how they choose to bring the child into the world, marriage or not married.
Right. So is that like a co-parenting relationship, or is it extreme? You'll never see this child again.
Yeah. Is it that extreme?
I don't know. You never know.
No, real talk. But I think that will kind of give an understanding on the placement of the child.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Is it like a forced one?
Or
is it more like a, I see you when I see you?
Right.
Easy kind of selling. I don't want to talk to us.
And Protestants. Otherwise, small communities of indigenous beliefs also exist too. The country is run by President Ali Bongo Ondimba, son of Omar Bongo Ondimba, one of the longest serving heads of state in the world, who ran from 1967 to 2009. We could go on and on talking about another president passing down the reins of his rule to his son or family member, but I'm sure you can figure it all out. We gotta move on. Okay, let me put it this way. Gabon is kind of like the little...
Wait a minute. All right, so who's gonna be the best friend, babe?
I'm not sure which location is going to be the best friend, but the surrounding locations is going to have relations with Gabon, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah.
If anything, that's one answer I can be correct about. But when it comes to best friend,
I'm thinking
you
Gambia.
usually get it right. Gambia could be a good one.
Now I know they're gonna have a relationship with France.
Oh, because they're a French-speaking country, correct?
Yeah, but I'm thinking Gambia.
Gambia? No, Gambia. Okay.
Or Cameroon. That's how they say it. Cameroon.
Yeah. Let's see.
Sister of the Congos that got rich and changed her last name. France and Gabon have been getting along very well even after independence in 1960. They are the largest importer, as the Gabonese love their cheese and foie gras, and the 6th Marine Infantry Battalion of the French military is also stationed in Gabon. Former President Bongo is even quoted for saying, "Africa without France is like a car without a driver, but France without Africa is like a car with no petrol." Surprisingly, though, a lot of Gabonese people will say that Morocco and Trinidad and Tobago are good friends. President Bongo is good friends with King Mohammed VI, and a large number of Gabonese students study abroad abroad in Morocco. Trinidad and Tobago may be small, but they do big business with Gabon, as about 6% of all of their imports come from Gabon, making it their closest African economic ally. In terms of their best friends, however, since childhood, Gabon has always kind of had a little crush on Cameroon. Sing it with me. Everybody loves Cameroon, but especially Gabon. They share similar ethnic groups, cultures, languages. They love visiting each other, even though Equatorial Guinea kind of gets in the way and interrupts their conversations. In conclusion, to the untrained eye, all the small, obscure African nations are kind of hard to distinguish from each other. However, I encourage you to look a little closer, because then, and only then, will you find surfing hippos. Man. Stay tuned. An even smaller and more obscure African country, but with a higher population, the Gambia, is coming up next.
Yeah, we're gonna stop right there, man. Yeah, history class would have been A+ for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a percent.
History class.
I have the best tutor, bro. Like the best tutor. Yeah. You'd have me down. You got me right.
It would have been interesting for sure. Would have made sure you wake up. This is the good part. On the movie day. All right, y'all. We hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Be sure to send in more of these videos
Definitely.
about Gabon.
Got to. Description box down below. All request forms are open for you guys. Fill it up. Fill it up.
The people, the culture, things they love, things they hate. It don't matter. Let's discuss.
Let's get it.
All right. Send it to us. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you soon. Peace.